wife of his brother. Now, the problem with this is that most of these marriages between kings were for political gain. And Herod's first wife was the daughter of King Aretas, the fourth of Nabatea, which, by the way, was on shaky ground with the Romans to begin with. And so that's why the marriage was arranged, to kind of cement a little bit more of a peaceful time between the people of Rome and the area of Judea and the kingdom of Nabatea. But when word reached the king Aretas that Herod was going to divorce his daughter because he wanted to marry his brother's wife, kind of made him a little angry. He kind of didn't like it. King Aretas didn't want King Herod to marry Herodias. And oh, by the way, this is the same reason why John the Baptist got beheaded in Mark 6:17 through 29. So this story is well known to the people of Judea who understand that because of this divorce, and that King Aretas refused to accept it, he opposed Herod. And so part of his decision to oppose Herod is he decided he was going to march upon Judea. And to fix the situation by telling King Herod, you cannot have this divorce. And so what did King Herod do? Well, he sent his own army of 10,000 out to meet King Aretas, who had an army of 20,000. And according to the records, the result of the battle was that King Herod's army was utterly destroyed. And according to those who do battlefield tactics and strategy, as well as our own common belief that if you only have 10,000 and you go up against somebody with 20,000, you probably shouldn't do that. King Herod should have never opposed him in the first place. See, King Herod didn't consider the cost of what was going to happen if he chose to divorce his wife. And he thought that he could handle the situation to his liking, that he could deal with it, even though he knew he was outnumbered. And as a result, King Herod was humiliated. And King Aretas extracted terms, some resolution from King Herod, and compensation for Herod getting his divorce. And yet all the people of Judea knew this. And they laughed at King Herod. For King Herod thought he could win. But yet he didn't consider it completely. And in fact, according to the Jewish historian Josephus, points out that it was this event, this divorce, this battle that eventually led to a series of misfortunate events which led to the downfall of King Herod. You see, if King Herod had just taken a moment to carefully consider whether or not he could win, he would have seen that this was going to cost him more in the long run. He would have known that it was going to cost more to oppose King Aretas than it would have been just to ask for terms of what he could do to get his divorce. Instead, he sent his army and he lost it. And then he became humiliated. Because King Aretas still got what he wanted to get the divorce. And so Jesus tells this second example once again to carefully consider the cost, to carefully look ahead to see what is going to cost you down the road. Sure, you may try to oppose something now, but it may cost you something longer in the end game. And so Jesus uses both of these events to highlight the need to carefully consider what we are getting ready to do. To carefully consider what it means to follow Him. You see, the call to follow Jesus is not something which we rush headlong into without giving it ample thought about whether or not we're able to complete the project or whether we can come out of the battle victorious. This all goes back to that word I told you to keep in the back of your mind. Mathetes. A learner. A one who makes the mental effort to think things through. As part of being a mathetes of Christ, we need to think about if we have the resources available to us to finish what we start, or if we are seeking to follow Him, that we are able to have the strength to see it to the end. We should take a moment to think about if we're going to truly undertake following Christ. As the teacher of the law said in Matthew, I will go where you go. I will attend wherever you go. Then we think about that and we say, are we ready to make that commitment? Do we truly understand what is going to cost us if we sit there and say, yes, I will follow you? That we are saying, yes, we are ready to do the kingdom work. And that we are willing to take and do whatever it requires us to finish the line, or to cross the finish line. And so we're called to carefully think things through. To carefully consider the cost. To find advice. To find guidance. You know, the writer of Proverbs mentions several times the process in which we need to start, which is to first consider the cost of what you're getting ready to do. In Proverbs 20:18, the writer says, plans are established by seeking advice. If you wage war, obtain guidance. Or what is more fitting for Jesus' teaching here in Luke is Proverbs 15:22, where he says, plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. You see, if Herod or Pilate had carefully considered what they were getting ready to do and had listened to counsel, they would have realized that, oh, I don't have the money. And it would have been foolish for me to go and try and get the temple treasure. Or for King Herod, who has said, I don't have the manpower to oppose this. I will seek terms first and see what it's going